So as chair of the Kingston Planning Board, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and in accordance with the governor's emergency order number 12, pursuant to emergency order 2020-04, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to the meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order.
Okay, thanks.
However, in accordance with the emergency order, I am confirming that we are utilizing the Zoom platform for this electronic meeting. All members of the board have the ability to communicate contemporaneously during this meeting through this platform, and the public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if necessary, participate in this meeting through dialing the following phone number, 929-205-6099, using the password 258592, or by clicking on the web address that's located on the second page of the agenda for this meeting. And that can also be found at the Town of Kingston website, kingstonnh.org, under the Planning Board section. We previously gave notice to the public of the necessary information for accessing the meeting, including how to access the meeting using Zoom or telephonically. Instructions have also been provided on the website of the Planning Board at www.kingstonnh.org. If anyone has a problem, please call. Ellen, which number do we want them to call? You're muted, Ellen.
We want them to send an email to planningboard@kingstonnh.org. I'm monitoring that during the hearing.
Okay.
They could actually call the planning board office too, because that pops onto my email, lets me know someone's trying to call. So they
Okay.
can call at 642-3342 extension 6.
Extension 6, or email at pb for planning board at kingstonnh.org. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting will be adjourned and rescheduled. Please note that all votes that are taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. And let's start by taking roll call attendance, with each member stating their presence. Please state whether there is anyone in the room with you during this meeting, which is required under the right to know law. So Ellen, if you could call the roll, please.
Okay, Glenn Koppelman?
Yes, I'm here, and no one is with me.
Okay, Lynn Merrill?
Yes, I'm here. No one is with me.
Richard Wilson? You're muted, Rich.
Yes, I'm here and somewhat alone.
Okay, Peter Coffin?
Present and nobody here.
Peter Baiki?
Present, no one here.
Robin Duguay?
Present, no one here.
And am I voting?
You are, because Mr. Bashaw is not with us yet. So until such time as he joins us, you will be the 7th voting member.
Okay, well, I am alone in this room.
Okay. And as you heard in the preamble, I'm the chair of the board. Lynn Merrill is our vice chair, and Ellen Faulkner is an administrative assistant for us, as well as an alternate to the board. And since one of our full-time members is not here yet and might not be with us tonight, Chris Bashaw, Ellen will be voting in his place. So we do have 7 voting members here tonight. Okay, so let's see. Before we get to we're not quite at 6:45. So Glenn, what would you like to do?
Well, we could do a preamble to the fire department, I would expect, right?
You mean, how so?
Well, aren't they
well.
the first ones up?
Well, they are. They are.
They
So the fire station building committee is with us to provide information to this board. Planning board has no jurisdiction over what the project is doing there, and but this is something that the town of Kingston has done regularly. Is that when municipal departments are working on projects, especially when it's land use related, as a courtesy, they often do come to the pertinent boards for information purposes and sharing of information. So that is as I understand what's happening here tonight with that item. And as it says on the legal notice, the planning board has no jurisdictional review of the site plan, but the fire station was approved by town voters at town meeting in March, and it is located at 148 Main Street and 4 Rockrimmon Road, and it's tax maps U11-13 and 14. Let's see, and we have
Well,
Mark
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to, I was asked to be the, do the design engineering site plan. So I'm prepared to present the plan for the architects and the fire department.
Okay, excellent. Which reminds me, I did not introduce our staff. I introduced Ellen, but I did not introduce Dennis Quintal, our town engineer, and Glenn Greenwood as our town planner. And we have, I'm looking at, we have Mark Furlong here from the building committee. I believe you're chair, right, Mark?
That's correct.
Okay. And we have Chief Pellerin with us, and
Anthony Mento is an architect.
Anthony Mento is an architect, and Scott Frankowitz, is he also with the fire station?
No,
Okay. All right.
Glenn,
Yes.
it's Peter. Since this isn't a public hearing per se, it's not something we're voting on or anything, do we have to wait till the 6:45 to start it?
No.
No, I
No,
was thinking
just-
we could,
Just,
instead of
we can
twiddling
get
our
started.
thumbs.
I
Yeah, I
figured
think-
I figured I'd get us a little bit closer to the time, just in case somebody was jumping on, right at the time. But
Will I be able to present the plans on the screen for everybody to see?
yes,
Yeah, I've got them
I
also.
tried earlier to set up the share screen, and I think so, Dennis.
Okay, good, because I have it here, my PDFs ready to bring up when.
okay. So I'll ask the fire station building committee, would you like us just to turn it over to Dennis for a presentation, or would you like to add some comments before he goes in?
Well, I think you can go ahead and start with Dennis. We can certainly add any comments as we go along.
Okay, all right, Dennis, we'll turn it over to you.
So is there any way I can bring, how would I bring that up on the screen?
Well, you have to click your share screen, right, Glenn?
Believe so.
There you go. Now, whatever you're seeing on your screen, Dennis, we should be seeing, but we're not at the moment.
Well, I'm seeing the first sheet that I have on my computer, so
No, not yet.
you
And
don't
you're
see
saying, you're saying share screen?
it. Hang on just a sec. It was there, but I wasn't able to click it. Share screen. Can you see that?
No?
Okay, let me try it again. Bear with me. Share screen. Can you see that?
No? Are you currently looking, Dennis, at your screen?
And it's at the bottom, it says share screen.
No, but are you, on your screen though, are you looking at the plans?
Yes.
Okay, and you see the button that says share screen and that doesn't seem to work? Oh, hang on. Here we
Dennis
go.
has started screen sharing.
There it is.
There we
Got
go.
We're
Okay.
seeing-
Very good. So this is the plan that was developed by the architects last October 2019. And at the top of the page, if you can follow my cursor, this is Rock Rimmon Road. Can you follow that?
Mhm.
Okay, good. So this is Rock Rimmon Road, and this is Main Street. The existing fire station is in this area here. And they're proposing to put the new building to the rear of that here with access on and off of Rock Rimmon Road. The parking area is in the back. They have turning radiuses that they show here for the trucks to go in and out of the building. The front section of the building is where their administrative offices are and associated rooms there. So that's the general site plan that was done last October. And that's the direction we're working on right now. So I'm going to go to the next sheet. And this is, can you see that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, this is the building itself. It shows the apparatus bays for the trucks to go right through because there's doors on both sides. They have their workrooms and equipment room in the back, gear, shower room, bathroom, and decon area for washing up and showering after their events. And they show an entrance door here, but that entrance door is going to be changed to be over on this side so the firefighters can get out of their vehicles, get right into the building, get there, grab their gear, and get right into the vehicles and go. So that's one of the changes. The administrative part here, this is the side that faces Main Street, which will be the offices, main offices for the fire department. They have a meeting room on the side that faces the Rock Rimmon side, utility storage, equipment rooms, bathrooms and showers, exercise room, kitchen, bunk rooms for those people that are staying overnight and whatever, 24-hour service. They have a stairway that goes into the cellar. And as you can see on this right-hand side, there's a cellar stairway that goes down for their storage, sprinklers and mechanical and all of the electrical components that are necessary to operate the building. So that's just a summary of that. And I'm going to go right over to the next sheet. We can always come back to these if you like. So the next sheet is the site plan. And as you can see, Rock Rimmon Road to the north side, Main Street to the east side. We show the location of the existing fire station to be raised and the proposed building with the driveways, again, coming in and out off of Rock Rimmon. Also driveways and driveway coming out onto Main Street here. So the existing well is in this area, which will probably be replaced with a new well, and we'll locate that in the back. Got a 75-foot protected zone around that, and that's a state requirement, and the town requirement's 100 feet. So we have that as a protective zone. We show the location there, and the septic system. To pick up the bathroom that's in the back, we'll have a line that either goes through the building or will come out and go down the outside side of the building to the septic tank. And then the effluent will drain into the leaching system in this area here, where we did a test pit right close by there. So because there's a lot of impervious surface, we have an extensive drainage plan that we've had to take a look at. So my first design of this was catch basins to pick up the surface water from the parking areas to go into catch basins. So it picks up the sediments, contains the sediments, and then catch basin, catch basin, catch basin, catch basin there. And In between these basins, there'll be a leaching trench similar to this here. And that will be perforated pipe and stone, crushed stone, so that the stormwater will be able to recharge groundwater and also be detained within that line and within the basins before it goes into another subsurface area, which are chambers. On the south side of the building, similar type of thing, stormwater runoffs into catch basins, catch basins, catch basins, catch basins, and then into the stormwater area. So that was my first run at it as far as a stormwater situation. And of course, in talking to the building committee and the architects, this fire station will have to be operational until the new station is occupied, be able to get an occupancy permit. So obviously this detention area will not be able to be put in right away. So we've decided to change that and put that some subsurface stormwater in this area. So once the building is gone, this is going to be a big, nice, big flat grassed area in front of the building. So that's the game plan for it. Instead of having open drainage, we decided that the subsurface drainage would work the best for this type of thing, instead of open drainage, because that really wasn't received well as far as having a large surface detention basin there. There's changes, other changes to the site over the next few months. We'll be working with the architects. Like I said, there was a change with this door being going to be placed on the rear of the building. Also, one of the other changes is for the cistern that's being placed out here, subsurface cistern. They have to have a pump that is mounted right over the top of the tank, and that pump has to be enclosed. So there's going to be a bump out on the back side of this building here. So instead of moving the parking and walkway to the west, what we talked about is moving the whole building 10 to 15 feet closer to Main Street. And that way there would still be able to maintain the parking spaces and a walkway. And then the building will be 10 to 15 feet further away in that direction. And we still have quite a bit of room. There's like 55 feet right now between the two buildings. So to move it another 10 or 15 feet, they'll still be able to get both structures in place and both be able to be operational. So there's little changes like that that are going to be done over the next few months, and adding more plans to this. To my part of it will also be details for all of the structures that I'm proposing, design for the septic system. The lighting plan is being designed by another company. We don't have that yet, but that's certainly something that's coming. And landscaping, there's going to be at the beginning minimal landscaping, proposing some shrubs along the southerly side to protect the abutter. And because of that, I may have to move this leaching area inside a little bit to be away from the root system of those shrubs. So that's another little change that I might have to do. There might be some more landscaping, maybe up in this corner, maybe an area that would be chips and shrubs and things like that. But those are the type of things that certainly will be developed over the next year or two while the building gets built and the demolition happens to the fire department. So landscaping is always something that the department will be able to work on in these upland these grassed areas here and over and around the back section here too, as they see fit. There are other fire stations that have little or no landscaping. So I think that that's something that's still up in the air with the committee and what's going to be done with that. So like I said, my plans will have erosion control, construction sequence and details, typical plans that'll be developed that are usually sent to the planning board for other site plan projects. So we can come back to this, but the next sheet I'll show you is the elevations of the buildings views. This one at the bottom is the view you'd see if you were driving down Rock Rimmon Road. That'd be the administrative building, section of the building, the apparatus bay, and then around the back, you'll see where that building comes, the doorway goes out the back. The Main Street, the east elevation, this is the view from Main Street with the offices across the front of the building there. The rear of the building, which is the west side, again, this is where the cistern's going to be, so there'll be another box out in here for the pump, and the doorway, the entrance doorway for the firefighters to go in. And then this would be the southerly side of the building with the doorways there for the apparatus and the administrative part of the building there. So those are the sheets that we have for town to review now. And like I said, there'll be multiple changes, nothing major, but this is a basic idea of what's being designed, but there'll be little changes here and there. So the game plan is to have these final drawings done over the next few months and hopefully completed by the end of October, and be able to be sent out to bid, and then hopefully construction can then begin in early 2021. So I think that's the summary of what's happening. So if you have any other questions, I certainly can answer those, or we can go back to any of the other drawings.
Mark or anyone else from the building committee or fire department wish to make any comments? And I can't see all of you right now because the share screen is up. So if just go ahead and speak if you need to.
I don't know if Anthony from SMP has anything that he wants to add.
Good evening, everyone. This is, I think that Dennis summarized the intent of the project very well. As he noted, there's been some adjustments both within the building and on the site itself. But what is represented here is substantially the same project. I have some renderings that we provided the committee earlier on that are full color renderings. If you would like to see those, I can try to get my screen to share.
Sure, if you'd like to, go right ahead. I don't know if Dennis has to close his out before you can get in or not.
That may be the case.
I would if I knew how.
You should be able to just use the same process to get out of it, I would think. Down to the share screen button again. Or something that says unshare screen.
How about that?
Well, no. Go down to the, put your cursor down toward the bottom, or no?
Don't have anything that comes up.
Nothing.
How about right at the top? Right at the top, it says stop share.
There you
Right,
go.
there you go.
I found it. It's a learning curve on all of this stuff. So.
Okay. So Anthony, if you want to try sharing yours, you can go ahead.
Certainly. Let me open them up. Working on it. It is a cumbersome system if you don't do it all the time.
Figured you guys would be getting really good at this by now.
Yeah, so is that up there now?
Yes.
It is.
Okay, let me move this around. So let me switch. This is from the corner of Rock Rimmon and Main Street. roughly where the existing station is now, a little bit further up Rimmon. So our building, as you can see, is pitched roof, asphalt shingle, cement board siding, single double hung windows, operables, and then the apparatus bay will be clad with a brick veneer. And then on some of the other sides where we don't require brick, we're going to go with a little less costly. We want the kind of recognize the existing station and use elements that are consistent within the community. This entry canopy has changed, and the renderings that you saw earlier are a little bit more detailed. What we're doing is we're referencing the gas station right on the green that has that nice light slope roof and decorative element around on the soffit. We're not going to replicate it exactly, but we're going to reference it in our design so it's clearly fitting into the community. So this is down Rock Rimmon looking back at the apparatus bay. We don't know certain yet what this material is going to be. We're planning to prepare the building for a solar array on the flat roof, but it's not something that's going to be installed immediately. But when the community wishes to, they'll be able to install it and plug it right into their system. I had one more. Back up. An aerial view of the back. As Dennis noted, there's been some changes on the back of the building. This entrance is moved to the side, making the workflow through for staff to be more efficient. That's the back entry.
So Anthony, you've got the brick facing on both the Rock Rimmon side and the looking at it from the south side.
Currently, that is correct, and the committee likes that. We like that. I think that we're currently in the process of going through a budget verification with the construction manager that the town has hired, Bound Construction, and they're looking at the building. They did look at it previously, and that's how we came up with the numbers that was presented to the town. But there's changes in the industry, and we wanted to make certain that we're still in budget. And I think that we will look at that brick on the backside as a way of possibly saving money if the committee feels as though they need to. There will be some lighting above the apparatus bay that will illuminate the aprons for the trucks. And when we come back to the planning board, we'll have all those light fixtures with light calculations, as well as any pole lighting that's required around. Happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Are you planning on the lighting being dark sky compliant?
It absolutely will be. Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
Full cutoff down lights.
Do we know the present proposed building coverage for the lot?
The footprint is about 14,000 square feet.
I don't have that information right now. I can get that for you, Glenn.
Thank you. It would be good just to get that impervious figure that we've been asking everyone to provide for us in case we get into any MS4 difficulties in the future. It's nice to be able to present all that information. So
that would be not just the building, but any impervious surface, so including the including the paved.
I'll be able to get that for you, Glenn.
I thought that you would then. Thank you.
It's a nice
You're still early here. There's work you're still going to do, but it looks really good.
It's a nice looking facility.
It looks really good.
And you're incorporating some nice architectural detail, like the top. I'm looking at the sheet you have up now. That top part with the it's not just plain trim. It's more historical, colonial. You know, it blends in better with the community that it's in.
Anthony, you're muted.
Anthony,
I was saying that you have a number of lovely buildings in town, and wanted to at least reflect some of the design, not be so contrasting that this building, although it's a municipal facility, we wanted it to at least blend in with the other structures. And so elements like that cornice is an important piece. It kind of harkens to the town hall, and the front canopy will be another important element. But this will be its own building. It will have its own styling, but it will certainly have the quality and hold up well for years and years to come.
Is Graham able to talk? Is he with us still?
Yes, I am here.
Graham, how does this situate the department for the future? Are these bays the same number of bays you have? They're not, right?
No, so at Central Station right now, we have 6 bays. We do have a South Station on Hunt Road that you're familiar with 2 additional bays. And then an addition that we put on probably 10 years ago now. So this will allow us to have more apparatus in the center of town, which is the study that MRI did probably 15 years ago, and just going over our call volume and location geographically to the town. Most of our calls are north of like New Boston Road, north of the fairgrounds. So, you know, it definitely into the future, we're seeing a downturn in basically volunteerism and call members, hence why we kind of had to go with a 24/7 coverage with full-timers and per diems. But this station will allow us to adjust to that in the future, whether we do get an upflux of call members or we need to go with, you know, more full-timers in the future. So one thing I did want to point out is we have reached out to the historic district just to kind of give them the same run at it that we're giving the planning board and every other board in town. As Glenn had stated in the beginning, that this isn't something required, but something that we want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. If there's any input from your committee or any other committee that looks at buildings, you know, on a regular basis, then we welcome that. But I did want to point out that Anthony and his team with SMP really shows that he is invested in fitting this building to the community. Not that it's just going to be a warehouse style. The picture that's up on the screen now, that archway that he was talking about and the gas station in town, that was for Clark's Garage. I don't know if you guys put 2 and 2 together there. But Clark's Garage, if you look at the front of their little office building, has kind of a semi-round arch on their overhang. And like I said, with the Corning finish above the bays, with the siding, with the windows, Anthony has done a fantastic job tying everything into the community. So I do want to thank him for that. But if not to drag this meeting on, but if you guys have any questions you want to talk about offline, I'm at the station usually Monday through Friday, 7 to 3, and available by phone 24/7. So I do want to thank the board for their time tonight. And like I said, if I can answer any questions in the future, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Thanks, Chief. Questions from our board? Most of you appear to be muted, so if you want to speak, make sure you click that little button. Glenn, are there any folks out in audience land?
No, I'm not showing any.
Okay, because if there were, we could give them the same opportunity. Okay, all right. Mark Furlong, did you want to say anything before we let you guys go?
No, I think we appreciate your time tonight. I think you've seen us several times on this project, and I think you've seen the evolution of it. We are really trying hard to make it fit in as much as it can. It is still a big building, but we want it to fit into the center of town as well as it can.
Well, it certainly looks nice from the renderings that you guys have put together. And I know that the building committee has done a lot of work on this. So good work so far. Let's see how it all comes together. Oh, I did have a question. Are all the issues with regard to land purchase and everything all settled?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the purchase of 4 Rock Rimmon Road and the land swap with 146 Main Street was all finalized in December.
Okay. Excellent. Well, thank you for bringing it to us tonight.
Okay, thank you.
All right. You guys are certainly welcome to hang around and enjoy the fun, but your call. All right. Let's see. Okay, let's, before we take up the next item on our agenda, we can dispense quickly with item number 3, which is Capri Realty and Management LLC, 6 Spruce Lane, tax map R20 lot 6. We were due to have a continuance here tonight for that application. There was a deadline of, was it yesterday, Glenn?
It was July 20th at noon.
Okay, for receipt of any new plans.
New plans or revised documents.
And condo docs and so forth. We did not receive them. And between then and now, the applicant has asked for a continuance. So we need a motion and a time and date certain to do this continuance. And our next,
I'll ask Glenn G if he gave you any indication of when he'd like to continue to, so that we're not wasting time putting him on too early. Is it just a week or two, or?
Well, I'm going to suggest, given how this has been going, that we continue this to our public hearing date in August, which would be the 18th.
Okay, with plans due by?
Well, what is the?
Ellen. Yeah.
Make a motion, we continue the hearing to Tuesday, August 18th at 6:45 p.m. with plans due into the office by noon on Thursday, August 6th.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Lynn, could you just repeat the date for the receipt of plans? It was a bit muffled in my end.
I'm sorry, August 6th at noon.
5?
6.
August 5? Or
No.
6?
August 6th,
6.
which is a Thursday.
Thank you. At noon.
At noon.
Okay. All right. So motion by Lynn Merrill, second by, was it Peter Coffin?
Yes.
All right. Further discussion? All right. Ellen, would you please call the roll? And you have to call yourself at some point because you are voting.
Unmute.
Details. Glenn Koppelman,
Yes.
Lynn Merrill,
Yes.
Richard Wilson,
Yes.
Peter Coffin,
Yes.
Peter Baiki,
Yes.
Robin DuGuay,
Yes.
Ellen Faulkner, yes.
Okay. So that's unanimous. Glenn, I'm assuming you'll be in contact with the applicant and
Well,
provide them with this information? Okay. All right, so the next hearing is for, it's also a continuance for Diamond Oaks Golf Club LLC, 7 Route 125, tax map R3 lots 4 and 4 land unit 3. It's okay. Application is for an amended site plan that seeks approval to construct 7 one-bed residential age-restricted condominium units for veterans within the unfinished usable area of the upper second floor of the existing clubhouse. So I know we have Mr. Dufresne is with us. We have Attorney Cleary with us. We have Mr. Zilch with us, the engineer on the project. Is there anyone else that I'm not seeing who's with this application? Okay. Normally, we would start by asking the applicant to make a presentation to the board, but we have a bit of a threshold issue that I think we need to resolve before we go any further with the application, and the board needs to make some decisions on this. So I'm just going to state what the issue is, and then I'm going to let Glenn Greenwood get into a bit of detail. And I know that Mr. Cleary will probably also want to weigh in on this. This application came to us a while back. Initially we weren't able to hear it because it's for housing and it's in a part of the C3 zone within a certain distance of 125 that didn't allow for housing. So the applicant went and sought a variance, received a variance for the housing, but had some conditions attached to it. There was age restriction, which is fine. There was some ADA compliance, which is fine. But then there was also the restriction that these could only be sold to veterans. And in conversation with our legal counsel, between counsel and our planner, Glenn Greenwood, that's problematic. And I know Mr. Cleary has had some conversation back and forth with Mr. Greenwood and with our counsel. And so before we go any further, and I know that Ms. Alessio is also with us. She's the chair of the ZBA. So at some point, Ellie, if you want to speak on this, we'll certainly recognize you. And one of our board members, Peter Coffin, is also a ZBA board member. So we have some representation from that board as well. So Glenn, I'm going to turn it over to you at this point, I think, just to have a little bit more information about this.
Sure. First, I'd like to say, actually, Attorney Cleary and I have never talked one-on-one. I've read his emails. He has spoken with our counsel, Attorney Kalman, about this issue, either once or twice, I'm not sure. And they have also had email discussions about this. So from the standpoint of the process for the planning board, at the end of the last public hearing, one of the issues that we wanted resolved was an indication of the legality of the condition that's placed on this variance. And the contention that has been raised is that it's not a legal condition. And if it's not a legal condition, then the variance is suspect. The variance is the only reason that they're actually before the board on this issue, because without the variance, without the condition, we are back at square one, where the residential use being proposed falls within a zone that doesn't allow it. So there was the request by the planning board for the applicant to provide us with the information to show that the variance and the condition are legal. That's never occurred, even though discussions have gone back and forth between our counsel and their counsel. And today we did receive an email from Mr. Cleary that he can certainly address, but the upshoot of that seems to be that it's understood that the condition is not legally enforceable. And so from the planning board standpoint, I think that we're in the position of having to look at a development proposal that comes to us only by way of a variance, and the variance is not legal. So that's my synopsis of where we find ourselves now.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, just to let you know, I got a message from Chris Bashaw. He's trying to get on the meeting right now, and he's having a difficult time.
Hang on, I think I see him.
Okay.
Find out. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no, thank you.
Oh, there he is.
Thank you.
Howdy. Thank
Hey,
you.
Chris. All right, so Mr. Bashaw has joined us. We've just started the discussion on,
So Glenn with Mr. Bashaw joining us, that means Ellen is no longer voting?
correct. And so we've just started the discussion of Diamond Oaks. We're finished with the fire station.
Okay.
We've continued Capri Realty to August 18th, and now we're on Diamond Oaks. And as Glenn said, you're now the voting member, and Ellen is non-voting.
All right. Thank you. Apologize for my tardiness. I had another event I had to attend.
That's okay. So you did miss a bit of the initial discussion, but you might have seen emails about it regarding the situation with the variance and the restriction to vets and so forth. So,
yep.
So Glenn just did a bit of a introduction, and I suspect now we will probably be hearing from the applicant and perhaps Mr. Cleary.
Right.
I don't know.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, good. I wasn't at the prior planning board meeting. This is the first time I'm hearing anything about someone challenging the variance. I knew from talking to Mr. Kalman that he had a concern with the language in the condominium documents that had to do with the veterans only restriction. When I last talked to him, he asked me if I had an opinion on the legality of that condition, and I did not. I'm a little surprised that the planning board is venturing into matters of use and trying to make judgments about legality of a variance issued by another board. That's fairly unusual. I guess the first question would be, who and on what basis is someone contending that the condition or variance is illegal?
Well, not the variance per se, but one of the conditions of the variance.
Right, but is there anything the applicant can look at that would show them that someone has reached an opinion that the condition is illegal?
Glenn, didn't our counsel say that?
Our counsel has said that he does not believe that it's legal, but he has not offered an opinion. What we offered at the last meeting was that the applicant show us the evidence that they have that says that such a condition is legal. And a long time has passed, and we're hearing Mr. Cleary say that he's not rendered an opinion on this. But we asked for that opinion months ago.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that till I talked to Sumner around July 4th. Why would the applicant need to prove to this board that a variance issued 8 months ago by the ZBA or its condition is legal or not?
Because the condominium documents that have been submitted to the planning board indicate that there will be a restriction that the units will be sold only to veterans.
No, I understand that, but why is the planning board getting involved in this issue?
Because we review condominium documents for any condominium proposal offered to the board.
Okay. So
If I can, the approval from the ZBA includes that the planning board will review the condo doc. That was part of the other condition of approval from the original variance.
right, I have no concern with the planning board reviewing the condominium documents. That's totally acceptable. So the issue is whether that sentence about veterans only should be in the condo documents, correct?
No,
That's not our decision to make. That's up to the ZBA. They're the ones who make the variance. We can only review the condo docs, and our attorney has advised us that he is unaware of anything that would make those condo docs something that would be legally enforceable by the town of Kingston or require somebody else to put in condo docs.
Right, so the issue, that's what I'm saying, the issue is the enforceability of that one sentence about the veterans in the condo docs. That's the planning board's issue.
planning board's issue is that the condo docs refer directly to the condition that was provided for us to adhere to. And it appears, since at this point, the email that you sent today says that 3 attorneys are aware of this issue, although nobody has granted an opinion on it. But no one can tell the planning board that it's a legal undertaking for that condition.
And the planning board simply wants to know whether it's legal or if it's illegal, that it won't be enforced, right?
No, I don't think that our only question is enforceability. Our question is, we have a variance with a condition on it that appears not to be legal. So that renders the variance not legal.
Let me stop you there, Glenn. Where do you get that legal conclusion from?
Discussion with Sumner.
Really? He said that if a condition is void because it's discriminatory for some reason, that the variance would be void?
Correct.
Can you get him to put that in writing for us, please?
I don't think that he wants to be put in the position of answering the question for you.
Well, I don't have
The question that was paused by the planning board to the applicant was, show us how this condition is enforceable and lawful. And we've asked for that for at least 2 months now.
Okay, but we're missing the point. We can't jump from the condition to the variance unless some attorney or some person has reached that conclusion. I agree that there could be a discussion about the condition, but I'm not aware of any law that suggests that a condition could affect the validity of a granted variance more than 30 days ago.
Okay, I'd like to recognize the chair of the ZBA who has been raising her hand and politely waiting. And if you could unmute yourself, Ellie.
How's that?
There you go.
Oh, that's
Okay.
perfect.
All right. The ZBA clearly stipulated that those apartments / condominiums could go into effect as so long as it was sold or rented to veterans. That was a key determining factor in the zoning board's decision. If it is illegal to restrict occupancy to veterans, then it would make the variance moot and unenforceable and illegal, and then would put the town at great liability if someone challenged deniability because they weren't a veteran. So in my humble opinion, as with a little common sense, if for some reason, if it's illegal to restrict residency based on someone being a veteran, then the variance goes out the window and the applicant has to come back to the ZBA.
I am aware of absolutely no law to support that conclusion. There are deeds and there's case law by the U.S. Supreme Court that have racially biased restrictive covenants in them. The deeds are not void. The covenant can be held void.
It's my understanding that Sumner wanted proof that it's legal to do this. That I think it was that simple. I don't think he was looking at as a means to sabotage the project. I don't think anyone was. Is there a statute that allows us to restrict residency based on veteran status? That's the question.
And that's all you need is an opinion that it's legal to restrict based on veteran status?
Well, wouldn't you, well, I don't know if I could, I can't make that decision on my own. I'm just rendering my opinion. If there is legislation that allows that to happen, just tell me the RSA, we could tell the other ZBA members and it's a done deal. But until that happens, you put us at risk. And that's the concern. Not that we want to not have veteran housing in Kingston. That's not the issue at all.
Yeah.
We want to make sure it's legal to do so. That's all.
Well, the ZBA imposed the condition, so I assume it was thought to be legal at the time.
We assumed it was legal. The ZBA assumed it was legal. But we did not seek counsel. We figured that was your job, Mr. Cleary. Since you're the legal beaver at the table.
Yeah, it wasn't my prerogative to challenge that condition. That was fine with the
No, but
applicant.
why would you offer something that was illegal?
We didn't offer that. We didn't offer that condition.
Well, we could argue on that one, but I won't
Oh.
take any more time up.
Oh, okay. So I think we have the issues out on the table, and I'd like if any of the board members have comments or questions, now would be the time to have this discussion. And then once you've had that discussion, we have to decide how we want to move with this application.
Just a point of clarification, Mr. Chairman. I made a proposal to Mr. Greenwood with a potential solution to it by email.
Well, Glenn can certainly relate that to us.
I
In
think
fact,
that email was sent to all planning board members.
it was.
I think he's saying that all the planning board needs is for them to remove the language in the condo document stating that the sale of these units will not be restricted just to veterans.
Well,
And I would say that doesn't resolve the issue at all.
Well, it doesn't resolve the issue for us by, I mean, first of all, we can't make the change to the documents like that. And by doing, even if we could, by doing so, we would be altering the conditions of a ZBA variance, which we don't have the authority to do.
right. No, that's not my email.
Okay. But perhaps you could rephrase it for us.
So it was that my firm could render an opinion to the planning board that the condition is either legal or illegal, whether it's void as a matter of law, or we could apply to the ZBA for relief from that condition if it's illegal.
I think the last solution you offered was the best. If there's a way this can go back, the ZBA, because it's the ZBA's authority to grant the variance, and the ZBA is the only one that can vary that, can make that exception. So if there's a way you can, I don't want to use the word to remand this because it's not our authority to send this to the ZBA, obviously. But if this can go back to the ZBA in a legal manner that for reconsideration, they're the board that would be the one that could change that. I do agree with Ellie that this was a very key aspect of the project approval, of the variance approval. It seemed to me that the whole ZBA used that as a justification, and I know that the first variance that was given gave veterans preference, not requisite. And if that we could somehow go back and maybe change that so that it was.
I don't think you should probably discuss what you might do with the ZBA.
Oh, well, right, yeah. I'm just saying that I'm providing options to go back, but I think just let me put it this way: it needs to go to the ZBA if any of that variance is going to be changed, modified, or deleted.
Yeah, I think we, as Glenn pointed out, I think we need an opinion from somebody first. Otherwise, we're just tilting at windmills.
Right. So do you know of any case law that would?
I can have my people look into it. It's a little bit complicated.
It is very complicated, and I know there's a lot of things dealing with veterans' preferences.
We've been asking for them to give us an opinion, which would be great, at which point we can then give it to our attorney and see what he thinks of that opinion.
Well, if you're going to get a second opinion,
we're going to get an opinion on your opinion. We've already had our counsel look at this. We're not going to, we've been asking you to give us your views on why you think it's legal and what statutes, et cetera, you're going to refer to, at which point our counsel will then review that and give us his advice because he's our counsel.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we do.
Yeah. Okay. He can review my opinion. That's fine.
So do other board members have comments about this? Either the same or different, or other thoughts? Peter Baiki, are you raising your hand or just waving in the wind?
I was gonna touch the unmute button, Glenn. It sounds pretty straightforward. I mean, I'm just, you know, I'm not a lawyer and I'm not familiar with the terminology. But if you went and got a variance for veterans only, and he got that variance, but our attorney's saying that you can't legally say veterans only. We requested case law from him, and we haven't got that. So I think we're at a standstill. If we can't legally say that, that's going to put us in a liability, just like Ellie said, to the town. So I think we need that case law.
I'm sorry.
I would think we would need that case law to go forward with it.
Right.
Sorry about that.
So,
when I go to reach the unmute button, it looks like my hand's coming up. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, what we can do for the benefit of the applicant here is I mean, one of our options is to deny, but we don't want to do that. We'd rather have you have the opportunity to clear it up one way or the other before some decision is made by this board. And so we do have the ability to continue this to some time and date certain into the future, however long you think it might take to get the resolution and or to go back and seek further guidance from ZBA. Ellen?
If the board put this off till like September, that gives them either the opportunity to find the case law that they want to put forth to us, or it gives them the opportunity to apply to the ZBA and then return to the planning board either with new legal information they want to give us or an additional variance or something else that they may think of in the meantime.
Lynn?
That seems to give them all the options they need.
Yeah. Lynn?
Are they permitted to go back to the zoning board of adjustment for a second opinion without being denied by the planning board first?
We believe that the guidance, Glenn, help me, but the guidance we've gotten from our council indicates that we can suspend this by continuing it and allow the applicant to go back to ZBA.
Clarify the variance, yes.
Oh, to clarify, okay. I was going to say, we don't usually have any hearings unless there's a denial. And so, I mean, if you want clarification is different. If all you want is a clarification what the intent was, then you could get on the next agenda, which will be in September.
I'm not sure that helps the applicant as much. Just we know the clarification. We got that from your minutes. It's more
correct.
And it would almost be an amendment of the variance.
So, I mean, I don't understand why the applicant can't provide. I mean, there must be other veteran restricted housing. This can't be the only one in the United States. There must be other case law that permits an owner to restrict housing to veterans. And if so, what are those RSAs that allow an applicant to do so. And as I said, I feel very confident speaking on behalf of the board that it was our impression that this was a legal act, that we could restrict to veterans, just as we do to over 55, for example. So it's not a matter, I mean, it just was an added plus. And if I remember correctly, the first time Mr. Dufresne had come to us, it was with members of the Haverhill Veterans Association and saying how much this was needed for area veterans, and it should be no trouble filling those 7 units with local veterans. And it seemed like a win-win all the way around.
Yeah, so the application as originally received by the ZBA was with a condition for leasing with a preference for veterans. And the ZBA, for some reason, modified that to a requirement to be leased to veterans.
It was because the Board of Selectmen came and challenged the decision.
Let me finish.
It's unenforceable.
Could I finish?
Sure.
Thanks. No one, unfortunately, is saying that the condition is illegal. I think there's just been some comments that it might be illegal. So it's really hard for the applicant to address this point. But as I said, what everybody needs, I guess, is an opinion whether the condition is legal or illegal, and I've agreed to provide that.
Okay. So how much time would you like for to do that, Mr. Cleary? Our next hearing would be in August, and that would be on the 18th. The one in September would be September 15th.
I can complete it well before August 18th.
So you're requesting a continuance to August 18th?
It's up, Charlie, Zilch, and Jim, any issues on when we would continue to?
If you feel confident for August 18th, I'm fine with that.
August 18th is fine.
Okay.
That wouldn't be that's not when the opinion would be due though, because we're gonna have to have our own attorney review it. August 18th is the hearing date.
Well, yeah, how many days ahead do you want it?
I leave that to the board.
Well, we for the previous hearing that we continued, we followed our convention of advance time to get materials in, and for the August 18 meeting, that would be August 6 at noon.
Mr. Koppelman, the ZBA deadline for legal notification would be August 19th for their September 10th meeting.
Okay.
Okay, so we would need to know the next day in order to make sure we have it on the agenda and notify appropriately.
Okay. It sounds to me, however, now that this could change between now and then, I suppose, but if I'm hearing Mr. Cleary correctly, it sounds as if he feels confident that he's going to be able to come up with the justification for this to provide to the planning board, and that no further ZBA involvement. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Cleary?
Well, I think there's 2 options for no further ZBA involvement. And it's tough to bring the ZBA back in because the final decision was made so long ago. One, my firm could rule or opine that it's a legal condition. 2, the firm could rule that it's an illegal condition and that as a matter of New Hampshire law, the condition is void and cannot be enforced by the ZBA, the town of Kingston, the planning board, anyone.
Wouldn't that make the whole variance void?
No, I'll make sure I include that in my opinion as well.
I think that, I'm not a lawyer, but I suspect that's a debatable item.
No, that's not going to be debatable at all. I'm very confident on that point. But anyway, I'll render the opinion before we discuss it.
Okay. So how do you feel about having the materials to us no later than August 6 at noon?
That's fine.
Okay. So that's the motion that I need from the board.
Might I ask one question?
Yes, Charlie.
I had resubmitted the design, the application on July 6th. And I don't know if there are any more subsequent follow-up comments from what I resubmitted. But I have access to that so that I could also, if there's any follow-up comments, that I could address those and resubmit at the same time as Attorney Cleary's comments or opinion.
Sure. Glenn or Dennis, do you have comments that you can provide to what Ellen's shaking her head no? What's going on? Ellen?
They did not get sent out to
Oh,
department heads for review because we wanted to take care of this threshold issue. So if the board feels comfortable with having department heads comment on this, in light of the fact that who knows where it goes after August 6th, we can certainly send them out. My take on it is, if this issue becomes the determining factor here, why are we wasting resources looking at any other aspects of this application?
Well, we don't have any determinative opinion on the issue. Why is this issue the important threshold issue?
Well, my take on that, Mr. Cleary, is that 3 attorneys have been involved. Nobody wants to render an opinion, but I haven't heard anyone give any indication that they think that that condition is legal. Because if they did, somebody would have already said that.
Well, I know it's presumed legal because the ZBA rulings and decisions are presumed lawful as a matter of law. I have not done the research.
When Richard has his hand.
Richard, you're in the dark shadows there. I couldn't see you.
I think the comments should go out just so if he is able to come up with a reason that we should hear this by the August meeting, that we don't lose another month, that Charlie has time to correct anything that is found in those comments. Because if he doesn't get those comments ahead of time, then he's going to see them that night and need another month to make those changes.
He's not going to get anything before it's time for him to make the changes. It will give him plenty of time to come in that night with answers,
Well,
as Peter has brought up in the past.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So he would have the chance to answer any of those issues instead of getting it that night and need more time to look at those issues.
If that's the board's desire, I will make sure that those plans get submitted to everyone on Thursday.
I'm the opinion of one.
Well, I will say that I think I've whittled the comments down to just a handful. And so if there are any outstanding comments, not going to be drastic plan change comments, just minor details at this point. We met with the fire department, I've addressed Dennis's comments. On a second round, we've gotten our state approvals. I think we're pretty close. So even if the comments come back at a late moment, it's still something that could even be considered as a condition of approval if they're minor enough.
Okay.
Lynn?
I think the plan should go out. I think the further delay, should this be deemed legal, I don't see any reason for further delay.
So we've got 2 board members saying that the plans should go out for review.
I agree.
Robin, yes.
I agree also.
Peter Coffin, yes.
Peter Baiki, yes.
Peter Baiki, yes.
Yes.
Chris? Chris is a yes. All right. And I'm a yes as well. So we'll get those plans out to department heads and Dennis and Glenn, if when you have comments ready, if you can, is the board okay with Dennis and Glenn providing, well, we have that, that's what we're doing now. We're getting those
That's
out
correct.
to applicants in advance. Yes.
That's correct.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, now we would need a motion to continue this to August 18 at 6:45 with new materials due no later than August 6 at noon.
So move.
Motion by Richard,
Second.
second by Lynn. Further discussion? All right, Ellen, would you please call the roll?
Glenn Koppelman,
Yes?
Lynn Merrill,
Yes.
Richard Wilson,
Yes.
Peter Coffin,
Yes.
Peter Baiki,
Yes.
Robin Dugway,
Yes.
Chris Bashaw.
Yes.
Okay, that's unanimous. All right, thank you, folks. We'll look forward to hearing what you come up with and seeing you on the 18th.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Right. Ellen, I did not see any critical correspondence come in over email. Do you have anything that we need to discuss?
Nope.
All right. We have two sets of minutes, June 18 and June 23. Is anyone ready to talk about and dispense with June 18 minutes?
Yeah, I'll move that June 18th minutes be accepted as amended by the email that Ellen sent out with corrections, mostly typographical corrections
Okay,
incorporated.
all right. Motion by Peter Coffin, second by,
I think those minutes were the 16th, not the 18th.
16th, sorry, yeah.
oh, it does say 16th, I'm sorry. My apologies. So Lynn, were you seconding it as well?
I'll second it.
There we go. Further discussion? Ellen, would you please call the roll?
Hang on, I just moved it. Oh, there it is. Okay. Glenn Koppelman,
Yes?
Lynn Merrill,
Yes.
Richard Wilson,
Yes.
Peter Coffin,
Yes.
Peter Baiki,
Yes.
Robin Dugway,
Yes.
Chris Bashaw.
Yes.
Okay, that's unanimous. And now the June 23rd minutes.
I'll move that we accept the June 23rd. Actually, was it 23rd? I'm gonna look it up. Yes, June 23rd minutes as written.
Motion by Peter Coffin,
I'll second.
second by Robin. Discussion?
I think I sent a couple of change or two to Ellen, but I don't remember.
I got them for the 30th.
Okay, but not the 23rd.
I didn't find anything for the 23rd.
Okay. I'll second the motion.
It's already been,
Seconded, yeah.
it's been seconded, yeah. Discussion further? All right, Ellen, the roll, please.
Glenn Koppelman,
Yes?
Lynn Merrill,
Yes.
Richard Wilson,
Yes.
Peter Coffin,
Yes.
Peter Baiki,
Yes.
Robin Dugway,
Yes.
Chris Bashaw.
Yes.
Okay, that's unanimous as well. And is there any other business to come before the board tonight?
Want me to give you a heads up on your August 18th agenda?
Sure.
Please.
You had Bresnahan, Fieldstone, site plan and subdivision. You have a design review for 34 Church Street. You have, oh, I swear I missed one. Dan Parks on 7 Smallpox Road. Capri Realty, Diamond Oaks Golf Club.
Oh.
Shoot me now.
Was there another design review, Glenn, or was that the only one?
I think if Scott can get in on time, there'll be the one for Scott Frankowitz.
No, he can't. He's already missed the deadline.
Oh,
He's
all right.
ready for September.
All right.
So that's it.
Then
That's
it's going to be sick the 18th.
Well, that's going to be a long evening. Okay. All right, anything else? All right, then I'm going to declare us adjourned at 7:50 p.m. Thank you all. Have a good night. Stay safe.
Good night.